Franklin Delano Roosevelt was born on January 30th, 1882 in Hyde Park, New York, to James and Sarah Roosevelt. Homeschooled until he was 14, he finally received a private education at Grattan School, where he became a big admirer of his fifth cousin, Theodore Roosevelt. In 1900, he was accepted to Harvard University, eventually attending Columbia Law School, although he never graduated. In 1905, Roosevelt married distant cousin Eleanor Roosevelt and over the next 10 years gave birth to 6 children, one of whom died in infancy. His political career began when he ran for New York State Senate in 1910 and won in a sweeping fashion. He then won re-election in 1912, although he did not complete his term as he became the Assistant Secretary of the Navy to Josephus Daniels. In the election of 1920, presidential nominee Woodrow Wilson took notice of Roosevelt in his cabinet position and offered him the vice presidential spot on his ticket. Although Wilson lost the election, Roosevelt then became the vice president of the financial firm Fidelity and Deposit Company. Then, disaster struck in 1921 when, after a long day of swimming and exercising, Roosevelt contracted polio and woke up the next morning to numbness in his left leg. The day after that, he was partially paralyzed from the waist down. Roosevelt maintained his positive and upbeat attitude throughout his therapy, keeping an eye on the political scene through the help of his wife and Lewis Howe. In 1928, he became governor of New York, just in time for the world's worst economic depression. It was during this time that he adopted his active government approach to the national economy, which he would carry with him to his presidency. After running for presidential election in 1932, he was sworn into office in March of 1933, becoming the 32nd President of the United States. During his first 4 terms as president, Roosevelt enacted the 100-Day Campaign, a period of rapid legislation creation to aid the American economy and get the country back on track. When he won re-election in 1936, it was then that he vowed America would maintain a good neighbor policy that changed the way the Monroe Doctrine was enforced. When World War II erupted in 1939, Roosevelt wanted to maintain neutrality with the warring nations and focus on major domestic issues such as the economy. Still sympathizing with Great Britain and France, Roosevelt agreed to aid the countries with supplies but would not get involved militarily. However, on December 7, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor to expand their empire, and within the week, America was fully involved in World War II. Roosevelt continued his presidency for about 3 more years until he died on April 12 of 1945. He did not live to see the end of the war.